Friends, I'm pleased to welcome Pascal Lamy, the President of the Paris Peace Forum, and having been the Director General of the WTO in the past, as well as Trade Commissioner of the European Union, he comes in with a lot of rich experience on the issue that we're going to ask him at the particular moment. Now, Pascal, how do you think the appointment of the DG WTO, in the sense that the US has given its okay to Ngozi, how would it sort of shape out? How would it sort of roll out in the present circumstances? One issue that Trump had with her was that she doesn't have a trade policy experience. Do you think that would be a disadvantage for her, or would that be an advantage, I would say?
Well, first, thanks, Pradeep, for the question. I believe the appointment of Ngozi Okonjo as WTG is very good news, not just because the US have released their hostage, but also because she's very qualified for the job. Right, she does not have, as other candidates, a lot of trade background. She's more on the finance, development, health, international side of things. But I've known her for 30 years. She's a fast learner. She's a determined, hardworking personality. And I think she can help overcoming a number of problems which the WTO has had in recent years. Although we should not overestimate the role, the influence, the power, the authority of the DG of the WTO. And I know that myself for having been the longest serving WTO DG so far. The mantra among the members of WTO still remains that WTO is a member-driven organization, which means that, in their view, the DG has a minor role. I disagree with that in terms of how the thing should work. I think even a member-driven organization needs a strong personality at the head of the organization and to lead the secretariat. I think that it's now up to Ngozi to find the right balance between knocking a few heads from time to time, which she will have to do, not too much of that, because diplomats don't like their feathers being too ruffled. But I think she's got the experience to do that, and I'm quite confident that this is really good news.
Yeah, she is a well-known, well-qualified international civil servant, besides having been the finance minister of Nigeria, which is not an easy job. Having said that, I'm glad that the US has supported her now, which means in the overall, if you remember, Pascal, we were talking about multilateralism, the way it went through Trump's time, and then followed by WTO, how it has been held hostage to the appellate body decision by the US. How do you think it is going to roll out with the new setup, both Ngozi as well as Joe Biden?
Well, I think there is obviously a major and important agenda ahead of Ngozi. I think this is doable. I think the fact that the US now seem to be more inclined to a sort of participation, negotiation, discussion model, rather than just hammering the WTO as something of a past that's useless and that's complicating things for bilateral deals, which was basically the Trump stance. So the context, the stars are now more aligned for a number of issues that have clogged the WTO agenda for recent times to change. Now, then it's a question of priorities. You've mentioned one, Pradeep, which is reviving the appellate body, which is the top level of the dispute settlement system, although the European Union and a few others have put together a patch that allows the dispute settlement to work in the absence of the US. I think this is something that is only provisional. So there is a conversation to be had. We have to understand where the US problem is, and they have to accept that it's a negotiation and that at the end of the day, they won't get everything they want. There is a very urgent thing to be done on fish subsidies, which is not a major trade problem, but which is a serious environmental problem. And I think the negotiation is quasi-ripe on this. And I think, and I hope that India, at the end of the day, who's been a bit of a problem in this negotiation, will join. And then you have the big question, the large one, which is how can we better organize the coexistence of China, which do not run its economic system according to the average rules of global market capitalism, given the enormous importance of the state sector in the Chinese economy, with consequences on competitiveness, with consequences on subsidization, so that many countries, at least in Europe, US, and including in India, believe that the level playing field with China is not properly organized. Reorganizing the level playing field with China in order to keep world trade open, I think, is the big question which Ngozi, the US, India will have to deal with in the times to come.
How do you think the Biden administration will move ahead with China, especially in the context, Pascal, as you've seen, the EU-China investment agreement has sent a little sort of bubbles, in transatlantic bubbles, which is, I mean, as is being quoted in the American press, not that we've heard any official reaction to it as yet. They still have to appoint the USTR.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a bit paradoxical that the US have a problem with EU catching up with the US on the Chinese investment regime. The reality is that this recent EU-China investment deal, which was signed, which still remains to be ratified, and there will be problems in Europe about that, is in many ways catching up on what the Trump administration had extracted in concessions from China in opening a number of investment sectors. And by the way, the EU-China bilateral deal, in most of its inception, is opening the door for others also because it's an MFN deal. So I'm personally in favor of this deal, although I recognize there may be political problems in the ratification, not least because of the behavior of China in things like human rights and things like the Uyghurs, in areas like the way they treat Hong Kong. And we Europeans have a serious problem in difference in political values. If we only were trading or investing with people who are like us, the world would not probably be a much better place.
Thank you very much, Pascal. That was excellent talking to you. And three very important topics that we could get your mind, and I'm sure that the world at large will enjoy your remarks and comments which you've made. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Good to be with you once more, Pradeep, and good luck to Kutz.